How is it that two people prophesy together? Lord, they learn together. Sometimes end up all alone. Tell me how is it? And how is it that two preachers collected money together, even traveled together, sometimes end up with a broken heart? Oh, isn't it a shame? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes such a love, it will never be. Hello, people. I'm sorry I'm a little late with this story. They've been talking about it since yesterday. How you doing? I am Mrs. Ricks. I've been waiting. I know, honey. I know. I had to go get surgery on my back. Y'all know how I always be moving around and I can't get comfortable in my chair and all that. I thought it was the chair and all, but I actually have a cyst in my back. And so I had surgery today. I had to go in there to cut my back open and take this thing out of my back, honey. So I'm hoping that'll make it more comfortable. I don't know. But that's why I am delayed here. Everybody connected with internet and church, it seems to be reporting on this story. And Timothy Blaine's a little late, but I do have an opinion, of course. Hi, Nicole Reloaded. Waiting for your commentary. I know, baby. I know. Jesse, everybody talking about the tea and mess. Sang, huh? Ambrosia, Tennessee. How y'all doing? Oh, Lord. So I got to recap a little bit just so I know what the hell's going on here. Okay, so there's a problem in New York. Excuse me, y'all. If I don't speak to everybody, I got to get into this thing for I have memory lapse. There's a problem in New York City. We all know that the mega church, the phenomenon of the mega church was rolling along very well before COVID, right? COVID seems to throw cold water on the whole situation with these mega churches, and many of them are struggling, and they still struggling. Even though we're talking about 3 years ago, they are still struggling behind what happened with COVID. What happened with COVID was people were at home, the churches were closed and not allowed to open, and people began to realize that there makes no sense. Why do I have to go down to that church and give them my money to know God? And so people didn't rush back into the churches as they wished. So I think this is what birthed the problem in New York City. What's the oh shit? See, the name's already going. Matthew Stevenson. Matthew Stevenson rented a space in New York City from Bernard Jordan. Bishop Bernard Jordan apparently is a well-off man who owned a property there in New York City, which is, he says, is very unusual for a black man to even have a property that size in New York City, right? I know what the rent situation is here. I can only imagine what it is in New York City. These two cities have gone back and forth for years. Who is the most expensive? Who's the least? But it's always been those two, right? So this building was going for $40,000 a month, according to the interested parties. $40,000 a month. Now, maybe this wasn't an extreme amount when the mega church was rolling, but after COVID and everything calmed down some, people were struggling to make those mortgages. And he was particularly struggling because it was so expensive, right? We know Matthew Stevenson has other problems in his church. I think he got ripped off money at the same time. Things have not been going smoothly, right? The thing is, he stopped paying rent. $40,000. Apparently, Bishop Bernard Jordan did not actually own that building. They have a situation where where he just has like, I don't know, 500 a year lease or something like that, and he can sublet the building. So he was subletting it to Matthew Stevenson. So he was paying $25,000 a month on this property, correct? Essentially, he owned it because, I mean, he has a 500-year lease or whatever. That's the best they can do there. Same thing. When I was in San Quentin, they told me that San Quentin is not even owned by nobody. That's owned by a family, the property it sits on. Anyway, let me not get sidetracked. Okay, so Stevenson couldn't pay that $40,000 a month, right? I don't know how he was able to get behind $500,000. He owes Bernard Jordan $500,000 in rent. I don't know why Jordan let they get that far out of hand. I guess they kept hoping things would get better, but really the churches are still struggling. This may be this time for the mega church may be a thing of the past in general, I'm thinking. Anyway, Stevenson stopped paying him rent, right? He let it get that far behind. Over a year, the man ain't paid him nothing. Now, so I'm gonna try to call out what I see. I'm gonna try to be fair. But first of all, Stevenson, you in the wrong because you didn't pay that man nothing, right? You're still collecting, you're still preaching. We know you have other bills, other expenses, and so forth. But my mom always told me the rent come first. The rent or the mortgage, that always come first. If you don't eat, pay your rent, correct? And I learned that early on, honey. Rent is always first. So for you to not pay him anything and cut off all communication with him and just ignore him, you're in the wrong, right? So at some point, Jordan said, okay, he'll never catch up. He owes me $500,000. He'll never catch up. So that's why he's not making any effort to pay me anything, right? This is the danger when you let people get behind. This is the business after all. And I would suspect that Bernard Jordan is still responsible for the $25,000 that he has to pay for the property since he doesn't actually own it, right? So people will say, well, he was getting $15,000 a month profit. Well, why wouldn't he get a profit? It's a business. Correct? And this is what Stevenson agreed to. He could have at least took that man enough money to cover his mortgage or his rent. I guess you call it a sublet. He could have at least given him that much, 25,000, whatever. They have all these concerts and all these spiritual events and these conferences and all that kind of stuff. You could have had, you said, listen, people, we are behind and we need to catch up quick. And we're having a conference to raise money. They could have come up with some kind of plan where you would leave that man high and dry and still have to pay that, right? Okay, let's advance far past that. So that's the situation. Stevenson owes Jordan a whole lot of money, $500,000, right? So that's where Stevenson was wrong. Jordan, since he didn't know how to fight back, him and Larry Reed were his connection to the internet, right? They were on every couple of weeks. Jordan would come onto his channel and they were prophets and they would do prophecies and they would collect a lot of money for both programs, kind of thing, right? But since Larry Reed and Bernard Jordan broke up, he doesn't really have a connection to the internet, right? He's my age, right? Not everybody my age, honey, is messing around with the internet. And so he appeared on St. James. As a matter of fact, he's been on St. James channel several times in recent months, correct? And he came and he spilled the story about, God damn it, here we go. Matthew Stevenson. That's the name. I got to keep remember all these names because there's several of them involved. Anyway, he starts going on St. James channel. They're developing that relationship, right? So this is where he would go because this is where he's been going recently. And he told the whole story. He told the whole story about the rent. He told who's behind. And he also dropped that Stevenson had agreed that he was never going to catch up and he was going to leave the building. That's what happens. If people see they ain't going to get the rent from you, you might as well get out and let somebody else pay the rent, right? This New York City, they can get that kind of money for property in New York City. So he's the reason why Jordan is making an appearance now. I don't think it was purely about the money. I think it was purely about you're supposed to have your ass out of here October the 1st. That was last week. So he's only a week behind, but he has not moved his stuff out of the church. He agreed to move his stuff out the church because he can't pay the rent, right? He did not do that. And this pissed off Bernard Jordan. Now, these people who are supporters of Larry Reed seems to think, wait a minute, how Larry Reed get involved? I'm already confused, child. Okay, what was I just saying? Matthew Stevenson, he did not leave the building, even to now. If it were me, I'd move all that shit into some kind of storage room. Well, I don't know what you would have in a church. It ain't like you got fine furniture. You might have some instruments. You know, remember what we went through with that other freak, where he had instruments still in the church, maybe a couple of thrones for the pastors. I don't know how he would have so much in the church, but that's a cleanup job. If you're not going to come and get your stuff out, just like an apartment building will do, they will take your shit and they will put it in storage, and they will only hold it in storage for a certain amount of time. If you don't pick it up, you got a month to pick it up. You don't come and get it, brother, it's done. We're donating it. So he has to get rough. So anyway, he goes over here to St. James page and spills everything. It seems to me that the dude is being honest. He is being honest. People say, oh, you told Matthew Stevens' business. Why did you tell his business was to pay his goddamn rent, honey? You cannot ignore somebody for a whole year and not pay them in anything when a person is still paying their responsibility, correct? And think they're supposed to just take that, and then you just leave and leave them hanging after they've been paying $25,000 a month themselves, child, for the last year, right? And think nobody's supposed to talk about it. So I do not agree with that at all, that he is telling Matthew Stevens' business. He's supposed to keep it a secret. How long do you keep? How long has this been going on? How long are you supposed to keep it a secret, honey? Right? So I can see that Jordan, I don't think that he's done anything wrong, really. Not, at least not as far as telling this story on Larry Reed Live. Now, enter other characters. So we all know that Thais Jackson has been extremely jealous of St. James for months now. The moment that Jordan starts showing up on his page, on St. James' page, Thais Jackson has been very jealous. He always makes mention he's on that page. I don't know why he would have him on that page, all that old stuff, child, right? So he couldn't resist. Thais Jackson called up Larry Reed, and he told Larry Reed, they dropping shade. Well, Thais Jackson always thinks everybody's dropping shade. Everything somebody says, she got to evaluate it and say, oh, that's shady. Oh, they dropping shade. He goes and tells Larry Reed that this guy is dropping shade on you, correct? I saw all the interviews. I don't think it was shady at all. Basically, he was saying that other people owe me money as well. No names mentioned, nothing like that. He said other people owe me. Well, if other people owe me money, nigga, other people owe me money, right? So Larry Reed he gets offended by this. He's on Thais Jackson's page, and he just loses his mind on Thais Jackson's page. See, they had that expression, throw a rock and hide your hand. This is one of the things that Thais does, because he called that boy and told him, send him over to that page. And he's the one that identified that he was being shady to Larry Reed. Correct? Yes, he was telling his story. But I think, this is only my personal opinion, allegedly, Larry Reed came on, he started threatening this man. He gonna tell his wife, he gonna tell everything that he knows, and we'll get more into that. But I think it was the thing about exposing the one I just said. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to get caught up in these names, man. Matthew Stevenson. He took offense because he said he was exposed. That's the same thing he did to me, right? So Larry Reed, he's offended now because Bernard Jordan has exposed that this dude Matthew Stevens owes him all this money and telling his business, right? Just like he did me. So a few months ago, there was in the rumor mill, people were suggesting, and this is allegedly, people were suggesting that Bernard Jordan owned the big house, the mansion or the mini mansion or the house that Larry Reed was living in. Larry Reed suddenly announced that he was moving out of that house. Correct. He was moving out of that house, but they were saying that Bernard Jordan actually owned it. They both didn't. I mean, I think Larry's the one that denied that was the case. But it seems like the moment he said other people owe me money, Larry Reed took that personally. He's talking about me because that's the same thing that happened essentially with Stevenson. It's the same thing as repeating, right? No, we don't know if Bernard Jordan actually owned the house that Larry Reed was living in, and somehow Larry lost the lease, or it was one of these other rental problems he was renting all. Remember, there was a period where everything was rolling that Larry Reed had rented all these properties in these different cities, in Florida, in Los Angeles. We don't know what the issue was with all of their business entanglements, right? But we know that he was called Bernard Jordan was the mentor. Larry Reed was the mentee. Larry Reed was kicking down to the mentor, right? But we need to know the details, right? So anyway, let me catch up. Now, Larry Reed has got a problem with Bernard Jordan. So Larry Reed pops up on Tyrese Jackson's page. We're gonna take a break here in a minute. My brain is working. He shows up on Tyrese Jackson's page, right? And he starts threatening Bernard Jordan. He says that if Bernard Jordan mentions his name, uses his picture, makes any reference to him, he's going to spill everything, starting with his wife. Now, basically, you've already spilled that. Then you're saying that you have information and it's going to affect his wife. Well, that means he's having an affair with men or women, correct? So we don't know what the T was, but he said that repeatedly. I'm going to tell everything. I'm going to tell everything. Even you mentioned my name and all this kind of threatening kind of thing based on all Bernard Jordan said was other people owe me money. Right? No, we don't know how Larry Reed lost that house he was living in and is now living in an apartment. We don't know the details of any of that. But if those two were together at that time, more than likely, that's the one that Larry Reed must owe him money because he said it's the same thing he did to me. Y'all still with me? Picking it up this morning. Now, like I said, that expression, throw a rock and hide your hand. Now, Tyrese Jackson has taken down, the problematic video that started all this shit, right? He's the one that started it. Larry came onto his page, and that's when Larry started making all these threats. So now Tyrese Jackson, in order to remove himself, because I hate to use the terminology, but messy punk or messy bitch, whatever you want to say, he's the one that started all this shit, right? Right? And then if you watch the whole St. James video, I don't think they even mentioned Larry Reed's name. If it was in passing. That came out of Tyrese's mouth, and now he wants to take the video down like he always does and hide his hands. Oh, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. Even when Larry was getting so angry and so upset, he kept trying to say, oh, these are not my opinions. This is what Larry Reed's saying. This is what Larry Reed's saying, right? So Larry Reed said he's going to involve the man's children. He's going to involve the man's wife. I mean, these are supposed to be prophets. and they both claiming they love each other. What kind of love? What is love, honey? What's love got to do with it? How y'all doing today? I'm trying to get all this from memory, honey. And now, so Larry Reed came on with the semi-apology somewhere, maybe Facebook or somewhere. And now today he's coming on. I guess it's supposed to be some kind of apology for the things he said about threatening that man's family, telling that man's wife, and all this information, all this kind of stuff. But he can't stop. He has to keep on saying that he's telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. You're telling the truth about what? First of all, it's none of your goddamn business what in the hell is going on with Bernard Jordan and Matthew Stevenson. That man it's a business. It is I'm sure that he got the building as an investment. You're supposed to make money on an investment. How long is he supposed to deal with this shit when the man won't pay him nothing and he won't even answer his phone call? Correct? Now, even he gave him the option, well, just move out, and then at least I can get my money from somebody else. No, he ain't even moved out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that dude saying that. And I'm not on any of them side. I know if I read my comments, y'all gonna tell me some more stuff I missed. So Larry Reed made a long video, but the thing about Larry Reed is this. I'll tell you what my issue is with him, or at least today. The whole time you try to watch his videos, he's telling you, I'm going to say it for members only. I go to my members only today. I'm going to say it on my members only. Go to Patreon. I'm going to give all the tea on Patreon. This constant hustle, honey. God damn, if you got something to say, just say it. Right? We've always got to go to his membership, always got to go to his Patreon, all that. And you go over there at Ty's page, and he got to take begging breaks. And the thing is, you see, when they start mixing all this bullshit up with religion, so you're supposed to believe in something. You got to believe in something. Why not believe in him? They're constantly on the hustle, right? Which makes you suspicious. Is this just all just a play? Is this just all just a play? How many times are you going to tell us that we can sign up for your membership? I mean, you're supposed to be spilling your guts. You're supposed to be hurt inside, on the inside, right? But all you can think about is how to get. You did the same thing with Carlton's funeral thing, child. Hustling the whole time, hustling. Come to my Patreon, you hear it. Come to my members only, and you hear it. Come. It's just, whatever, honey. What y'all think? What y'all think? I can't keep up with all these people, these prophets, and all this stuff, and how they're calling themselves prophets. Whatever. I'm not a hater, honey. People make their money the way they want to make it, but I just have a problem with all the begging and swindling and conniving, lying, and all this shit, child. And you're supposed to be representing God's church, right? And then, but they all hollering about. They're all hollering about. They all throw a scripture in here and there, child. But they ain't nothing but niggas. Or that's how you're. At least that's how you're acting, right? Now, Larry Reed, I was very surprised at you. Now, I understand that you had gotten upset, and you were intentionally being harmful and trying to scare this dude, and you got some issue with Bernard Jordan. Details that we don't know about and don't necessarily have to know about, really. Correct, but there's something that needs to be ironed out there. You both claim that you have therapists and you have all these professors and working with you. Y'all need to get together in a room and then hash this thing out and figure out what happened, how you each felt. But something's going on between you and Bernard Jordan. That does not give you the right to be on here threatening that man's family. Correct? Now, you've already done the damage. To say that I'm going to tell everything. I'm going to tell your wife. I'm going to tell your, what does that mean? Whenever some queen, honey, is telling somebody, I'm going to tell your wife, I'm going to tell your wife, what does that mean? And it doesn't have to be just a gay issue. It could be about women, right? Or something you know or you heard about and all that kind of shit. Why would it affect his wife? And why even involve the man's wife? And why even involve his children? That is dead wrong. But your apology today, that wasn't a real apology, right? You're still trying to say he did you wrong some kind of way. So the question would be, Larry Reed, do you owe Bernard Jordan money to the tune, I think the numbers thrown around are $300,000. Did Bernard Jordan own that house you lived in? Was there a problem when you were evicted from that home? Did it involve money? What was the situation about money? Correct? Why would you take offense that this dude says that other people, other pastors owe me money? Correct? So maybe they're all wrong in some way. What's going on, Justin? I know you on top of this thing, man. It's been floating since last night, but I had things to do. Oh, I forgot about the William McCray issue was in there. Thank you, Justin. You always dependable for the tea. Like William said last night, how did a conversation about Stevenson and Bernard end up about Larry? That's what I said. So William McCray, he did this in the middle of the night, right? And he came on pretty hard to his friend. Him and Larry supposed to be friendly, right? And he was telling Larry Reed where he was wrong about this other people's business, correct? So Larry Reed heard about, that's the thing about the internet. Everybody hears everything. Anyway, apparently Larry Reed got mad. And so William McCray was on there. Why is he mad? Why is he mad? Well, you just corrected him publicly. And you didn't take his side and kiss his ass, right? I'm sure Larry Reed done invested coin in you. Y'all little bunch over there, Larry Reed, William McCray, they go way back. And then this Tyrese Jackson got his ass in there, right? So I guess y'all supposed to kiss each other's ass no matter what, if you're right or wrong. You can't keep claiming to be integral people. That should leave your mouth if you're not going to have integrity. And what is integrity? Tell the truth. Be honest, right? Don't just spend everything to protect yourself. So William McCray, he was correct. Apparently, he has some kind of relationship with Stevenson and Larry Reed. So he felt like I would play some of this stuff. It's too much. It's just too much going on. Anyway, so now Larry Reed has got added. He sent William McCray text message while he was talking, while William McCray was talking. William McCray has got to be he's got to be careful because that has been his meal ticket. Larry Reed is the one that put him back on the map. He's the one giving him, essentially mentoring him, right? And then they used this Tyrese Jackson, who thinks everything's about cash apps, right? So he got to be careful. He don't want to cross the line. At the same time, he still wants to cover the story. This is a big story among the church people. What else he say, Justin? Justin always knows the tea. Larry had no reason to insert himself. He made it all about him, but Thais did that. Thais the one to talk. Who he called? He doing shade. Who he throwing shade? What do you mean shade? The man can't say people niggas owe me money. It would only it would a hit dog will holler. It will only affect you if you're the one that owed him money. You know the situation there, and he has done a pretty good job of not exposing you completely, honey. Right? Oh, he said you're gonna come back. See, that's what I mean. That Thais is messy. She is a messy hoe, honey. She went there and called that man. That man is in another country. Where is he at? Dubai, some goddamn where. He's in another country. She calls him and wake him up in his hotel room to tell her, oh, they over there talking about you. And that's all based on the fact that he's jealous because Bernard Jordan is communicating with St. James. See, Tyrese Jackson, he sees everything in dollars and cents and cash apps, right? So he said, oh, if he hook up with St. James, that's gonna be like when he hooked up with Larry Reed. They're gonna get the money. They're gonna get the money. He told me how to get the money, right? He would rather him be on his page. Correct? And I don't think I'm seeing that part crooked at all. I believe that's exactly what happened. Throw the rock and have some of those statements that they use over and over again. It's because there's truth to them. Magnolia, okay. It seemed so contrived with all the players, like a bad Medea play. Like it's all a play, honey. And why you keep constantly mentioning that goddamn membership? What are you saying in this membership? Oh, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it on my membership. I'm gonna say it on my membership. I'm gonna say it on my Patreon. Come over to Patreon. If you have something to say, just say it. Oh, it's a lot of people in here. I'm messing up. Hold on. That thing don't hurt, but they numb my whole back, so maybe it'll hurt later. Hi, Egyptian goddess 1111. Thank you, Nicole. You think I look good today? Time to bring out the long sleeves, baby. It's been freezing here. We're freezing and raining for the last 3 days. Back surgery. I thought the neck surgery. Ooh. No, the neck surgery was something totally different, honey. That's when the arm went numb, like I was paralyzed or something. They fixed that in the front, but that doesn't got nothing to do with this cyst. That's why I became aware of it, because I said, "Oh, that thing's still there." I knew about it a couple of years ago, but it's grown. It was like the size of like what you call it? Not a tennis ball, but ping pong ball, like that in my back, causing me pressure while I'm always doing all this shit, child. So it wasn't painful, but it had to go, particularly when it's on my spine. I don't want to end up in a wheelchair, honey. That's why we all need health care in case something goes wrong. So, like I said, you can't find the initial offensive video where Larry Reed went off with all his threats and things, and threatening people's family and all that, because Tyson took it down. He always likes to start mess and then take down the video, take down the evidence, because he knows he's implicated, right? I'm starting to think that a major fallout is about to happen between Larry Reed, William, and Thais. Oh yeah, they're gonna talk about this, honey. That ain't gonna maintain, child. It's all based on cash apps. That ain't going nowhere. And William McCray, even though he says he's been here the longest and all that kind of shit, child, he's the brokers of all of them. All of them have managed to make some money. I don't know what the hell Larry is doing overseas and all that, but he's still staying busy. So we have to figure that even without Bernard Jordan, he's still making his money. Maybe it's real estate. I have no idea. But William McCray is the one that stays broke. He got an old woman's brain, and he hasn't been able to keep up. So that's the one who was teaching them. And he has been regular lately. He's been regular lately on YouTube. Usually he shows up for, 3 or 4 shows, and then he's gone for 6 months. But he's been consistent lately. And I'll give him credit. He even fixed the goddamn lace front today. The lace front was smooth, baby. No clumps of glue or anything. Yeah, of course they're going to fall out, child. Of course they're going to fall out. It's only a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. My love is surely making. Living a rough ghetto life. Everything seems so uptight. Nothing's wrong. It's all right, my man. Hi, Miss Cruiser. Had to slide in here and hear this. Oh, I saw you was already on the story, Miss Cruiser. I hadn't seen you in a while, girl. Miss Cruiser said, honey, why am I doing all this work? Y'all ain't paying me. Well, Miss Cruiser, is happening in the churches, and it's also happening in the YouTube, right? So we just got to deal with it, honey. Everybody's having a rough time. Then you got it goddamn Donald Trump around every turn He making everything worse. He don't even want your ass to be able to go to the hospital. But that's another story for another time. Why not take it to court? Why not? He could take it to court. He could take Matthew Stevenson to court right now. But hell, if he couldn't pay it last week, he ain't gonna be able to pay it next week. He ain't got no money. So why Larry Reed want to go spend some money on a dead horse? I thought Matthew Stevenson was still bringing in the crowds, but you know he's fallen off quite a bit too. At least as far as what goes on here on YouTube, right? So he couldn't afford to pay that rent. He should at least go. It don't cost that much to get you some U-Hauls and move. Okay, I haven't paid the rent. The man got a right to ask me. He's given me more than enough time. And the least I could do is clear his property. That's where you're mainly wrong at this point, Matthew Stevenson. Now we all understand. I know it's a stroke to your ego, but we all understand that the churches have been going through, many of them. And I don't know what y'all can get from the government. It used to be the churches get all kind of grants and shit from the government. Maybe they can't get that no more, honey. They'll bail them out. But so we understand that you fell into a hole, but there's no reason to be ignoring that man and still having service in his buildings and making money. You can say, man, can I get? Apparently, according to Bernard Jordan, there was a period where they were paying half the mortgage. That's reasonable. If that's all I got, that's all I got. At least you can fulfill your responsibility by paying this $25,000 you have to pay out. The rent was $40,000 a month, Magnolia Brown. Can you imagine that, girl? $40,000 a month. But hell, one bedroom apartment is $5,000 a month. I mean, it's not unusual in New York. Apparently, it is a big, huge building. He said he had all kind of dance halls and all kind of shit in there, child. So Matthew Stevenson, so far, he's playing it close to vest, and he's just not responding to any of this, which is what I don't know how that in the fuck. Larry Reed is still a hurt person. He's got to be. He's still got issues with this man. What in the hell does that man's wife got to do anything? And you collecting information? Who gonna want to tell your ass anything, child, when you're collecting information? So what, you went to a sex club with him or something? You didn't talk to all of the man's clothes. Larry Reed is calling the man. He's misgendering the man. That's one way. I don't play like that now. If you're a straight man, I can respect you as a straight man. Honey. I'm not gonna be calling you Miss. What did he say? He's Miss. He had names for all of them. Miss something. He all and referred to her as a woman, as a girl, right? So he's a hurt person. I'll have to look over that so-called apology thing or whatever, that video he made today. But of course, I have to go to and become a member to hear the rest of it. I'll give you a little bit, but you got to come over to the membership tonight. You come over to the membership. He must have said membership 35 times. Larry's a loser, says Jesse. We don't know what the hell's going on with that dude, honey. Hi, AT2. Yeah, I'm a little bit late with the story. I have a feeling this is going to get even more salacious, honey. And I guess y'all just put upside that you're prophets and you are sent here by God. And ooh, I hear God. I hear God. All that goes to the side. And you just become street niggas. Give me my goddamn money. He said, Stevenson said, listen, I have a church in Chicago. Maybe we could barter. Maybe I can give you that church for what I owe you. Bernard Jordan goes to Chicago. He said, oh, no, honey. This ain't worth no $500,000. So you'd rather have nothing than have this building. Why don't you just take the building if that's all he got and he's offering it up? So this is where you're wrong at, Bernard Jordan. Everybody's wrong with some of this stuff. If he's going to give you the building, if you could take ownership of a building in Chicago, Chicago is not expensive like New York City, but it's still, that looks like a sizable building. If the building that they're showing is correct, it is a big church. You made it sound like a slum, whatever, but it was something. If I can sell it for a couple $100,000, right, at least I got some of my money back. But you said, I don't want that. I'm surprised you would even offer something looking like that, honey. Got roosters and chickens in the hall. He said he saw chickens and roosters in the street. I don't know how the hell you're gonna get a chicken rooster in Chicago or New York City. But apparently I'm out of touch, and they're saying that a rooster is actually a crackhead. So if you saw crackheads, it ain't the first time people have had churches in bad neighborhoods. Most of them, as a matter of fact, most of them, honey, the ones who want to have a lot of property, all that, they start off in the ghetto. In the ghetto, on a cold and gray Chicago morning. Mm-hmm. Remember, Maddie took a lot of folk from other ministries, like the guy from Mount Zion Baptist. That's where I had my surgery at, Mount Zion today, Baptist, and he was AQ. He was AQ. Who is this here? Well, thank you, AT2. I think Jordan gave Larry some of that prophetic loving. Okay. Jordan gave Larry. So you're saying they look like brothers. They look like twins, don't they? They got the same face hair, same glasses, same bald head, and they look alike. Mm-hmm. Love it. And now he's bitter. They literally acting like they were in a relationship. Weird. It is a little strange, we got to say, but we don't know what the hell he got all this information. Do you got to go to Patreon to get the information? I bet you when he said he going to give the information, you got to go pay for Patreon to get it. So you can get it in them pockets, honey. It's all about the money. Must be the money. Thank you for a super chat, AT2. New York rent is ridiculously high. Yeah, it is. Particularly if you're talking about a big old building, honey. I mean, it wouldn't take that much to have $40,000 for a huge building. If an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, girl, is $5,000-$6,000 a month. Maybe if they were in communication, maybe Jordan could have waived. He could have waived the late fees, right? He could have done something there. He could have said, "Well, just bring me the money that I can pay I can pay my rent, which is 25,000. Can you come up with 25,000? Right? Can we organize some kind of a conference specifically for getting us both out of this hole?" If they were communicating, but apparently Stevenson's not even communicating. But we don't know the inside story. You know, they might have just rolled eyes at each other or something and got the wrong energy. Now they got attitude and got a reason that they ain't got to pay. I don't know. We never know. They never tell you the whole story. Although it seemed like Jordan was trying to tell pretty much the whole story, honey. I have a hard time figuring out how Larry's involved in it. But by Larry saying that what he's doing to Stevenson is the same thing he did to him, I'm thinking that he's another one that owes him money. And that might be why he moved into an apartment after styling in that big mansion. They did say that the property was owned by Jordan, but any one of the properties he was involved with could have been owned by Jordan. Right? And they've been broken up now long enough for whatever Larry owes him. He has had time to pay him. If he say he's still a millionaire. All about money. Money, 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 money. What's going on with you, Jesse? These are some of your favorites, man. Let me see. Ain't nobody scared of Thais. He always trying to say people won't say his name. Who? Thais? He always taking down the goddamn video. What are you scared of, child? You did start it. Except your part in it, honey. Yes, somebody else could have told him. Yes, he could have eventually, but he didn't. And nobody called it shade but you. You the one called the shade all up in your chat, and he decided to show up. So you were starting mess. You were starting mess, and then all the time he's on the oh, I don't have anything to do with this. Oh, these are the views of the guests. These are not the views of child. He's got such a blown up feeling that people actually watch him or care about him or he's important. He got to protect his reputation. What reputation? You ain't got none. You're one of the messiest bitches on here, right? They got to stop calling that stuff the church sector, honey. Y'all ain't churchy. Y'all just like beef sector, right? You got 5 or 6 people constantly beefing with each other. Just call it what it is. Enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Me. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself with me. You better enjoy yourself. Let's have some fun and stop trying to pretend to be all spiritual. Kind of, especially Thais, honey. That thing. The hell you got to do with something with church? William called it. William. I should have watched more William McCray. I don't want to start fucking with these damn phones today. William revealed he got a text from Larry saying he felt sort of betrayed by. Starting up. It's starting up. Nia 7. William revealed he got a text from Larry saying he felt sort of betrayed by William calling and talking to Bernard. Oh, William called Bernard. Okay, there it comes back. See, William called Bernard to check on his story. Like they say the professionals do. They'll call you if you have any comment before we publish this story. So he spoke with Bernard Jordan, and now Larry Reed has a problem with William McCray. That means them cash apps are shot out for the moment, right? I think William wanted to explain himself. Now William trying to explain himself. But initially in William McCray's video, he did sound like he was siding with Matthew Stevenson. Why? Because it's the truth. These people, everything's a spin. Don't you? I don't like people constantly talking about how integral they are when they're not integral people at all. All you do is spin everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything. I don't know. I'm just a God lover. Messiest people on here. Just accept your part, your role, honey. So those two are going to fall out. William McCray and Larry. That'll be fun to watch. Hell, they doing the same thing you do in the beef sector. Larry don't own shit. Larry don't own shit. Larry's out there renting stuff all year. He might have been renting it all from Bernard Jordan. Apparently, Bernard Jordan is sick of dealing with these people and their lack. So he wants to get out of the real estate business. He could start off by getting rid of that church, but he doesn't own the church. It's like a lifetime lease. He ain't gonna live no 500 years. Maybe he got 100-year lease. He ain't gonna live that long. So it's for his life. You know, it's essentially it's the same as his own it. People say when they say they millionaires, y'all just think, oh, they got plenty of money. That boy over there had the nerve to say, oh, why is he making such a big deal out of that $500,000? Oh, he got plenty of money. Child, right. When I go, listen to this. I'm just thinking of it now. When I go to McDonald's and I order a Big Mac, McDonald's wants that $2 or whatever the fuck it is. That's how they have a business. That's how business works, honey. Right? Because my company is worth $2 billion. That does not change the fact that you ate my goddamn hamburger. Nigga, I got employees, I got mortgages, and I need to make a profit because I'm in business, correct? You don't get a pass because I have money. You still got to pay your bills. I mean, that's so basic. That is so basic, honey. You still got to pay them. And if you're having a hard time, it seemed like they started off okay because Matthew Stevenson was giving him the money for the first year. He paid him for a whole year. I guess this thing is $500,000 a year, and fell on a hard time. But after you get behind a couple of months, what's the use of trying to pay? I owe you $500,000. Why am I going to give you my $300 in my pocket? But that's what you're supposed to do, Matthew. You're supposed to make arrangements. And you need to get out of this brick and mortar. That's what Bernard Jordan has been preaching for a while. He's saying maybe the time of brick and mortar churches could be past. And you'd be better to build yourself an electronic church like he did. He does. I don't think he even has a building where he preaches regular. Okay, Magnolia Brown. All this prophecy, all this prophecy, and don't know shit. All this prophecy and gonna tell you how to do business. Why didn't they have DNAs that is business, that is standing on business, but gonna tell you how to spend your $5? DNAs, what is that? Non-disclosure agreements, child. In other words, Larry Reed, you gonna go out and run. And Larry Reed, you cannot be poking your nose into all that man's business, right? You talking all this stuff about how you offended. How in the hell you gonna be offended for Stevenson? Stevenson has a responsibility to take care of his business, correct? If he doesn't want his name spread all over the internet, we have an internet now. That's the way it works nowadays, right? If you don't want your name out there like that, honey, call the man. Sit down with his lawyers and your lawyers and figure something out. Figure it out. But the least you could do is give him back his building. Why are you tying up his building? So that's only been 2 weeks. You can say, okay, I was late, I neglected, whatever. Go down to the U-Haul place and rent you 2 or 3 U-Hauls. Although I don't know how much, what, you got papers in there or something? It ain't like you got furniture in there. Whatever you're going to leave, say, listen, Larry, I can't move all this stuff. You can have the pews, right? Or whatever. You're a grown-ass man. Take care of your own business. You don't need Larry Reed all up in it with all of his resentments, honey. Dana Dane, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a faded rose from? Oh, that's Delta Dawn. Excuse me, Delta Dawn. Why take it down though? That's what Thais always does. That is what they mean when they say throw a rock and hide your hand. Make a video and take it down. That's what it is, honey. Because he knows he's implicated in this mess. He got it started. It started on his channel. He made the phone call. Right? And Larry just think he just tell this man, you're not allowed to mention his name. How in the hell are you going to demand something like that, child, when all you do is mention people's names? I mean, your whole business is based on mentioning people. This ain't nothing but gossip, honey. I'm sorry, church people, church sector, or whatever the hell you call it. That ain't nothing but a gossip channel, right? You come on here and talk about people, and then they can't mention your name. I understand you're pissed off at him. You're mad. You're popped off. What you need to do is make a simple apology and leave it at that. We don't need no long ass explanations of why you felt this way and how you were integral and all that stuff, right? In that moment, you popped off, and you popped off on your own. I mean, you went off the channel and came back for some more. You know the Lord is in that mess. Black people, we have bought so much from these people. People are always claiming that they are all spiritual and they got connections to God and they always hearing God and all this kind of stuff. These just people. That's all this down here are people, honey. That's why these creatures like Donald Trump exist, because God allows it. God said, I'm giving you dominion over this earth. I'm not going to flood it and I'm not going to burn it. I'm going to let you be people because now that I've created you, I see what people are. Right? Stop trying to pretend you're something that you're not. Right? I had a vision. A spirit told me this. Spirit told me that. I saw the spirit. Really? Well, did the spirit come out here and tell you to stop threatening people? Stop there. You didn't cause conflict in their family already because the wife wants to know what the hell are you talking about? What's he talking about? Right? You're implying, and when you leave it open like that, you got people thinking that dude he's gay or he's a womanizer. Right? Why else would his wife be threatened by it or care about it? And there's always the possibility that Larry Reed is broke. He's in Dubai doing some kind of business. I don't know what his business is. Maybe some kind of conference. I don't know. But I know he moved out of that damn house. And he closed down all of these studios he had. Were those owned by Bernard Jordan as well? People got to get hip, honey. This is the internet age. It ain't like the old days where, when nobody knew anything about your business. We know everything about your business. Somebody gonna spill it. I said Bishop didn't hear. Mad cow. Oh, and the mad cow disease was on there. So Bishop Jordan, look at all this stuff that's in here. Bishop Jordan showed up on mad cow disease, another enemy, another Larry Reed enemy, right? He's just showing up wherever he can. He wants to get the story out, and it's worked. It's worked because every one of them has made videos about this story, and it'll go on for a few days, right? So I guess Bernard Jordan only knew Larry Reed. His son knew a few other people, Manasseh. So his son is the one that told Jordan about St. James. Hi, Elaine. Tim, you're getting the name. I know I am. I know. Too many names, honey. All these bishops and things. Everybody's a bishop, prophet. They give us all these names. I understand. Listen, there was a time when Black people just couldn't have careers, not real careers. It's been in my lifetime. We were always shoe shine boys or go work in some damn sweat factory and something like that. The only prestigious job you could get and really make any money was to be the pastor, right? So that the pastor always drove a Cadillac, honey. And I think a lot of this comes from that, where we've made that some kind of prestigious thing to be. I'm a prophet. I hear things. Benny Hinn came and spilled the tea. Benny Hinn said, "Oh no, honey, it was just I forget what they call this stuff, but Benny Hinn said it was fake." And he was one of the biggest ones doing it, right? Y'all see Paula White over there? She's in the White House talking about sow a seed. So that's why I believe that this phenomenon of the mega church may be in the past. COVID, something came out of COVID. What we learned in COVID is it don't take all that. You ain't got to go to the conferences. I mean, I'm not saying forsake the assembly. I love my church. I'm there every time the door is open. I'm there, right? But people realize that they can stay home and still love God. They can still stay home and still pray to the same God. They can still have the same testimony, correct? And so they didn't rush back up in there. It ain't never been the same. Our church, we only meet every other week. Now, we've been meeting every week for 35 years. But now, these are the times we're in, honey. It's Stevenson that won't leave Jordan. Wait a minute. Tim, you're getting the names mixed up. It's Stevenson that won't leave Jordan's. I did say that right, didn't I? What did I say? You keep saying Larry is, oh, well, Larry inserted himself. It is, yeah, to be clear, Elaine, thank you. It is Stevenson. He promised to be out of the church last week, the 1st of October, and he has not moved out. Therefore, Larry Reed cannot prepare this building. There you go. Therefore, Jordan can't lease the building out because Stevenson hasn't moved out and he hasn't paid it rent in a year. So we can say, well, we can understand this man fell into financial ruin and he doesn't have $500,000, but it doesn't take that much to move. Correct? I'm sure he has enough followers that he ain't got to pay them nothing and they can go and move that place out. And that's what it seems to be set off Bernard Jordan. Right? Because it just happened last week. He's supposed to get busy. So Elaine, yes, I know I scrambled the names, baby. I'm trying my best. Y'all gonna get old too. Y'all don't realize y'all young and gorgeous and feel like it never happened to me. Baby. Age is not a discriminator. I like Bishop said, whatever he has on him to bring it. I said, well, dang. Whatever he, okay. Carla, I like that Bishop said whatever he has on him to bring it. I said, well, dang. Okay, so Jordan is not afraid. This might be some kind of scare tactic of Larry Reed's. He said, you know something about me? You want to embarrass me in front of my wife? Tell it. Right? Okay, he said something else too. I forget what it was. Go ahead and tell it. I forget. It'll come back. Their lips call him, but their hearts are from me, saith the Lord. Okay. Their lips call him, but their hearts are from me. I, me. Jordan, you may be right. Just get out of the real estate business, man. You have all these investments and y'all all say y'all millionaires. And he was on there telling about how the church bought him a Rolls Royce. You know, they all drive Rolls Royces and Bentleys and all that kind of stuff. It's too involved with money, right? Money is the influence. You know, people say don't go into business with your friends, right? If you got a relationship with Larry Reed and or Stevenson, don't go into business with your friends, honey. Right? It's gonna be problems when it's all about the money. It's got to be about the money with Larry. He's telling my people go back to his membership. Why are you so busy promoting your membership and your Patreon, child, if you got all these millions? Is mad church disease not mad cow? You stop it, Elaine. He said last night that he got the name mad church disease. He was explaining to Jordan. He should have just let Jordan talk. Jordan was trying to tell everything in detail. And then the mad church disease, what's his name? Marcellus. He kept trying to say, you hear me? You hear me? No, we don't want to hear you, honey. Let the man talk. Get the story out. Mad church disease. He went on to explain where the name came from. But we know it's your channel, but we still want to hear what he has to say. Everything is based on what, at this point, what he has to say. Jordan. It's all must be the money, honey. Well, I see everybody seems to be pretty in tune to what's going on here. So this will be our entertainment for a couple of days. I don't want you to get pulled into the beef just from saying a different name. Oh, okay. Getting their name wrong, you could be quoted. Oh. They know I'm half crazy here. They call me some call me Uncle Tim, and other ones call me Old Man Tim. That's all right. They gonna get their chance. They gonna feel the pain, baby. He was talking for 2 days. Mad church. Oh, that's mad church diseases in here. Jordan talks too slow. Oh, wait. See, I done started something already, Elaine. Mad church disease is in here, and he said of that last statement I made. I am 50. You see things different with age, and that is so true. We're not stupid. We just get words mixed up, honey, and forget things. Okay. Now, where do you say this is American version of Christian church? Is money driven? I just say they're all driving Rolls Royces. Jordan got to have someone and somewhere to put and wash that money. Let me see the studios. Oh, let me see studios. That didn't work, and now real estate. Think you guys think? Okay. Well, he said he just put studios in wherever his residences are. He wants to get out of the real estate business. If you got to fight for your money like that, I wouldn't want to be in that. No, because that's a full-time job. Okay. I hear what you're saying. He was talking pretty good last night, Mad Church Disease. But he does. I never watched him on Larry Reed's show. You know, they used to do their prophetic shit because they talk too damn slow. I couldn't deal with it, honey. So I understand. He was talking for 2 days. This is my show. That's right. You tell him, honey. It was good that he came on your show, though. That surprised me. He's coming on everywhere now, huh? We gotta get him over here, honey. AT2, man, you know how I am. It is what it is. Just take it for what it is. You had a spiritual celebrity on your show. There were some technical difficulties. Anybody know? Anybody know how real estate work on the West Coast? No, you got to get in touch with St. James. St. James is a real estate agent. So him and Manasseh, they have that in common. Apparently, Jordan's son, Manasseh, he's very interested and very invested in real estate as well. He's not trying to get out the business. He wants to get further into it. They are in the beef sector. I can't tell. Larry and Ty East claim they aren't in the beef, but they got their own beef sector. That's the beef sector, honey. No matter what they call it. People trying to be pretend like they're church people. They ain't no damn church. Thais is definitely no church people, honey. That ain't nothing but a con game, child. Each one of them trying to cash in. Elaine, you watch? Okay, you're a fan of Mad Church Disease, not cow disease. But he did say last night that that's where he got the name. Disease. Oh, I am not talking about you being a beef sector. I'm talking about well, I'm just a YouTuber. So you ain't got to be in a beef sector to be over here. I'll talk about whatever's interesting, right? I always have affection for a beef sector. Why? Because that's where Jay Wilson lived. And I just love that man. Anyway, people, we over time. Thank y'all for coming in. If we get anything else on this story, we will certainly check in and see what's next. Now we're waiting to see what breaks off between William McRae and Larry Reed live. Because Larry Reed didn't like William McRae calling his enemy or his adversary. So we'll check on that. Thanks y'all for coming in. Talk to you later.